What's up, guys, gals, and non-binary pals? Welcome back to Art by Flan. Today we have another episode of the Golden Oldies, and we're taking a look at some DeviantArt stuff from the lovely year 2006. Now, I was probably a freshman in high school. Yeah, I had to have been probably leaving middle school, going into high school at this time. So I'm gonna break this video into a couple parts because the last time I tried to record, most of it ended up being almost 2 hours long, and that's not a good video length. So we're gonna look at some of these because you can see there are a lot of them, and we're gonna break it up into several parts. So let's get started. We're gonna skip this one because it's really small and really unclear. So we're gonna start with this one. So this is actually a intro version of Banira. You've seen me draw Banira several times if you watch my channel, and normally he either looks like a full black dog or he looks like a man, and this was sort of with his previous design and stuff what he looked like prior. I went through this anthro phase, and so I drew him doing that. Another thing you'll notice throughout the course of these videos is this grayish background. That was the color of DeviantArt at the time, so instead of doing actual backgrounds, I would just crop out all the extra white for my sketches and doodles in Photoshop and just make it that gray color so it would be transparent while I posted it. Moving on, we have Jaku as an anthro, and what are these legs they go on? But when I talk about having legs for miles, I don't think they mean literally having legs for miles. Yeah, Jaku had an anthro form too. Like I said, I went through this phase for a while where I wanted to do anthro versions of all of my characters. Obviously, it didn't stick. Banira again. Listen, folks, if you see this dog coming at you in the darkness shaped like this, do not engage. Promptly turn around and go from whence you came, because this is not what a dog should be shaped like. Look at these spaghetti noodle legs I got going on here. Like, they're vaguely shaped like animal legs. And what is with this anime hair thing I got going on? This is clearly a dog that could blend into everyday society, obviously. I've gotten better at drawing animals, thank God. I just want to say, it's nice to know that my long leg syndrome for my humans transferred over into my animals as well. Moving on, we have Jaku and Banira again. I remember this piece. I specifically remember this piece because I drew it and I was so happy with it, and I inked it and I was so happy with it. And then tragedy struck and I spilled some soda on the page, like right in a big, huge, noticeable area of the page. And I was kind of devastated because I didn't think I'd be able to fix it, but I tried coloring it and it worked well enough for me, and so I ended up finishing it and posting it. I do a lot of profiles in this year, in the earlier part of this year, and they're each and every one a unique disaster all of their own. Like, I get what I was going for here with this particular one because it's like the no eye moody anime look, but I didn't do the shading under the eyes like you do, and it just looks bad. Here we can also see my great Photoshop job with the hair and with this nice realistic palace background, while they clearly do not fit in there. Continuity, Fast Danny, you need it. Moving on, this was done in Paint. I flip-flopped back and forth between Paint and Photoshop for a while this year. It isn't until later in the year that I actually find my footing in Photoshop and stick with that, so you'll see several Paint pieces as well. This was my ID for DeviantArt. Another theme you'll see is the same DeviantArt background, but with like song lyrics in the background as well. That was kind of my aesthetic at the time. I think the ones here are No Rain by Blind Melon, because that really resonated with me as a child. Okay. So there's a story with this one. We used to hang out at a friend's house, a whole bunch of us, and I was talking to one of my friends, and I said something. I can't even remember what I said, but my friend misheard it as something about naked Michael Freeman. Now, as far as we know, Michael Freeman's not a real person. He doesn't really exist. There might be a guy out there named that, but this particular one doesn't exist. And from that moment arose a character named Michael Freeman, and he was a nudist, and he was Canadian because that was very important to his character, and that he covered his junk with a maple leaf. So sorry if I offended any Canadians out there. I don't know if that would be, but that was sort of him. That was him. This is what he looked like. Another recurring theme you'll see is teeny tiny waist, massive hands, and long arms. That's a big portion of my art in this time period. Moving on, we have my character Ares. Ares was actually a part of Jaku's story when it was still sort of based on the Olympian gods or whatever. He was sort of the big bad guy who was out, to manipulate Jaku and get her power. And he'd sort of placed this curse on Banira, who really loved her but couldn't say anything to help her. And so he just sort of had to stand by and watch as this horrendous thing went down with their relationship. This was obviously done in paint. Again, like I did, even when I knew Photoshop, I still didn't do Photoshop because I was afraid of it. But don't be afraid of Photoshop. It's your friend. It wants to help you. This is clearly my style, but these eyes are referenced from something else. I don't know what, but that is not the way I drew eyes, so it had to be referenced from some manga or something. And you can also see my influence of Kingdom Hearts at this time because the massive amount of belts and chains and buttons for no particular reason. Moving on, so this was actually a pretty popular piece among my friends and I. It's fan art of Edward Elric from Fullmetal Alchemist, which I was a huge fan of. You probably saw my fan character a lot in the last video. And I think you see her once or twice in this video too, but I really like the idea of full back tattoos, like several of my characters have them, so I just combined a lot of the imagery from Fullmetal Alchemist into this back tattoo, and like I said, a lot of people really liked this piece. I really like how the shading came out on the wings and stuff. My friend, Allison, colored this digitally for me because she liked it and she wanted to color it, so I let her. It looked amazing. Still does, even for, being over 10 years old. The other thing I want to point out about this piece is these feathers. They're very Sailor Moon inspired. If Sailor Moon taught me nothing else, it taught me how to draw pretty looking aesthetic feathers. So, this was actually just a scribble. I was gonna make her a character, but I obviously didn't. So this is like my take on Little Red Riding Hood. And I just want to read you the little poem I wrote up here in the corner before I go on. So the little poem goes, "There once was a girl named Red. She wasn't quite right in the head. She said to herself, these people need help, then laughed, but they're better off dead." So this is my edgy Little Red Riding Hood OC, and she was a werewolf, sort of play off that, wolf theme. Why she had like a Japanese style sword, I don't know. The axe would have been more prevalent to the story, but I was a weeaboo and I gave her a bloody sword, so there's that. So this is that Fullmetal Alchemist fan character I was talking about earlier. This anatomy is a mess. Why do her feet look like weird potatoes? Why is her waist so thin? Why are her hands so big? These are mysteries. We may never know the answer. So this is actually an attempt at life drawing. So in my art class in high school was total chaos. God bless my art teacher Withers at the time, because he had, if you weren't in the art class to actually do art, you probably ended up there because you didn't pick another elective, and so you were just sort of lumped in there. So a lot of people in the art class weren't actually interested in doing art. But when he did manage to get us to do like life drawing and stuff, I was in that phase of my life. I was like, I don't want to do realistic art. I want to draw manga and anime. So I don't need this. Which is a stupid, awful mindset to have. Y'all, you always need drawing fundamentals. So draw from life, do life drawings, do caricatures, whatever, just draw from life. For God's sake, save yourself some heartache and draw from life now, so you don't have to do it when you're 26 and struggling. I'm projecting. Anyway, so this was my friend Kirsty. She posed for the setting for the class. As you can tell, I was only sort of trying because there we got a potato foot. I love potato feet. I still do potato feet sometimes. I should stop that. So if you watched my 2015 holiday redraw video, I think I briefly mentioned that we, in high school, we had stripper personas, and mine was Peppermint Dandy, which was red and white stripes. So this is sort of a sketch of Peppermint Dandy. I think she's actually kind of super cute, and I might redraw her as, better. better than 2006 Danny could do. So yeah, this is her in her work outfit, I guess. Oh hey, some fan art, and another eyeball. So I remember when I drew this, I was like, man, I used to draw Inuyasha all the time because I was really big into the show, and a lot of my friends were really big into the show. So I drew some fan art, and I was thinking, man, I've gotten so much better since the last time I drew him, and now I'm looking at this thing and going, this is grotesque. A semi-related story. So before I posted on DeviantArt, I posted on a website called Fan Art Central. I don't know if this website is still there. I don't know if the same people still run it, so I don't know. I haven't been there in years. But I remember they cracked down on what could be on their website, and I don't remember the story why. Maybe they were running out of space and only wanted the best of the best. Maybe they just didn't want sketches and other stuff on their website, but they had harsh criteria for what could be on their website. And I remember when I left there to post on DeviantArt, I posted something about how I was leaving, and you could find me here because I couldn't post all the art I wanted to on here, and blah blah blah. And I remember one of the mods for the website came back and was like, well, they're not going to let you post everything, every little sketch and doodle on DeviantArt. Joke's on them, yes, because there's no reason this half-a-second doodle of Inuyasha should, why did I post it? Why? It's not even that good. But yeah, I just wanted to share that story because that was what made me think of, was that moment with that mod saying that they wouldn't let me do that, and they've literally let me post everything as long as it was within the rules. So I like this piece. This is Jaku and Aries again. Like I said, I did a lot with them. Their relationship at the time was really toxic, but I did sort of ship them, and it was really weird and complicated, whatever. What's funny about this piece is, first of all, it's called Can You Feel My Heart's Beats? Because they're listening to music, they're doing that cute little share the headphone thing. But that's funny because if any of you have watched the anime Yuri on Ice, the first line of the opening of the song is Can You Feel My Heart Beat? And I found this picture, I thought it was so hilarious because this predates the anime by, like I said, like 10 years. So it's not like they ripped it off or anything. It's a really common saying. I just thought it was really, really funny for some reason. But yeah, here we have Jaku and Aries, and I really like this cute headphone sharing thing. They're wearing those, I don't know if you guys ever had these, but they were clip-on earphones, and I really loved those, and I can't find them anymore. But they were better for me than on-head, because on-head headphones gave me a headache, and earbuds wouldn't stay in. Overhead headphones were also really big, and I did carry my players and stuff around a lot, so they were really cumbersome. And then you had earbuds which didn't stay in my ears, and these clip-on headphones were like the perfect middle ground for me, and I love them, and I'm so sad that you can't buy them anymore. But the brand on them is Flufu, and that's a callback to like middle school with one of my best friends. It was we had this little fake company that we called Flufu Productions. And so I just sort of brought that back in this piece. It was a callback to an inside joke with a friend that probably won't even see this video. So hey, we have actual fan art, yay! So this is Sailor Cosmos from Sailor Moon. You can tell that all my heart and love went into this because she literally doesn't have another eye for no reason than I didn't want to draw the other eye. Don't be like me, kids. Learn to draw the other eye. Also, her legs are outrageous. I blame, again, Sailor Moon for this. If she stood up, she would literally go off the page. It would be like 80% leg on this freaking page. It's ridiculous. Oh man, don't be like me, kids. Learn proportions. Don't take your anatomy lessons from Sailor Moon. So here we have more of Aries. This was supposed to be like his character sheet. Again, I'm pretty sure his eyes were referenced from something else. Here he has another eye. Here he does not. And I can also state that I hate the way I do noses. I didn't even draw noses. I just drew a swoop and hope you'd get the flippin' idea. Except for when I drew them sideways, which they were all really, really huge. So here you can see a bit of design about him, whatever. What gets me though is there's a misspelling on this page. Instead of former, it's formar. People actually saw this. This went up on the internet for people to look at, and they did, and they liked it, and nobody called me out on formar. Come on, I'm depending on you people doing my spell checkers here. Oh, hey, a mermaid. I don't draw a lot of mermaids. I didn't then, and I don't now. But listen, when you're not feeling like drawing legs, do you want to draw an upper body? Draw a mermaid. That's how it goes. There's not really much to say about this piece. I really like all the frills that I got going on here. I don't know what they're attached to or where they're coming from, but I like them. Also, huge hands, tiny waist, monster noodle arms. Aesthetic. Oh my god. Oh my Jesus. Okay. So, if you watched any of my other Golden Oldies sketchbook tours, you've probably seen a lot of art of this guy. And he was my boyfriend at the time. And he was a really big defining feature of my high school experience. He was a big part of that. And you could obviously tell that from my art. Your first love, your first heartbreak, whatever. You know how that goes. Well, this was sort of the beginning of the end in terms of art of him, because this was the first piece I ever did of him. And this guy, he was really sweet. We met years before at my mom's company Christmas party. See, his dad worked with my mom, and so we met at the Christmas party, and I thought he was cool. But it wasn't until I was in high school that I really noticed that I had a thing for him, and it's like I wanted to ask him out, and I just kept having, like, you know, cute little daydreams about, oh gosh, he's so cute, I wish I could ask him out or just tell him how I feel or whatever. And so that's sort of what's going on in this picture. The thing I'm holding is my original run Nintendo DS. That shows you how old I am, and this is. So I got that DS for Christmas with Animal Crossing, the first mobile Animal Crossing Wild World, and he's the one who introduced me to it, which I'm really thankful for because I love Animal Crossing. But so I'm sort of clutching my DS because it reminds me of him, and I'm thinking about him, and it's so cute and sweet, and it goes straight to hell past Danny. It's a trap. Do not do it. Here we have a paint portrait of Jaku. I think this is supposed to be an ear. I think there's supposed to be a face here, but the colors are really light on both of my screens, so I can't really tell. Like on my computer monitor, her hair is like acid yellow, but on my tablet monitor, it's definitely the golden it should be. Oh, here we have that same piece of Jaku and Harrison before, but this time it's inked. I wish I knew what I inked this with. I want to say it was Micron pen, but maybe I was just bad at inking, so I went over lines a whole bunch. I don't know. Because later on, you'll see that my hand gets steadier and my lines get progressively thinner. Moving on, we have this one. I think this was just me playing around and trying to get the hang of Photoshop. The red is not under the line art, it's over. I just colored it really carefully, so I didn't go over all of my line art. Apparently this was supposed to be like some personification of the White Rabbit or something with her ponytails and her black and white color scheme. But the red is, you know, that hint of evil. Also, I feel like her eye is like smack dab in the middle of her face, and this eyebrow just goes on forever. Oh gosh, this is so bad. So here we have Jaku. First of all, I want to point out her collarbone goes directly into the middle of her shoulder. That's not how collarbones really work. Second, this line art is grotesque, so I didn't know how to do like multiply and color that way for these pieces. So I would just take the line art, scan it, put it in paint. What I called bitmapping it. So it was, so I was removing the anti-aliasing from the line art and making it so I could fill bucket tool it in paint. But I wanted to color in Photoshop, so I opened it there and use the colors and just blur everything. And it looks so bad. Oh my gosh, please do not do that with this line art. There are tons of resources that show you how to do better line art in Photoshop than this. Oh hey, we have some Danny Phantom fan art. Yay! So like I said, I've said before, I was a huge fan of Danny Phantom. I had a lot of fan characters. I did quite a bit of fan art. So here's just a piece of him. His arms are excruciatingly long. Like the bend of his elbow is like near his crotch or something. Do not take your anatomy lessons from me. Also, you can tell at this point in my life, I was just straight up not drawing the other eye because why bother? This is the only one that mattered. So this one was sort of inspired by my brother. I associate a lot of images and themes with him. Like right now, like this point in my life, I associate him a lot with scarecrows. But during this point in my life, I associate him with like the Catholic priest attire. So that's sort of what I drew him as. I drew him as sort of an angel with a Catholic priest get up, but he's smoking because he's also edgy. And I guess, I called this, I called him my muse because he really did inspire me a lot as a kid. He definitely encouraged me to keep going with my art. He was always excited, about the projects I did, and he was always excited to see the sort of stuff I created. So this was sort of a shout out to him, all done in paint. So this is sort of going back to that 3 degrees of separation from Jonan Vasquez. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I was not so much inspired by his work as I was inspired by people who were inspired by his work. So this is sort of a representation of that. I feel like the figure in the back and stuff has that vibe of his, but I didn't read a lot of his stuff. The most I did was watch Invader Zim. But I follow a lot of artists who are really big into his stuff, and so that's where this sort of came from, was that 3 degrees of separation from Jonan Vasquez. And I also really like the cross-hatching I did on the wings. That came out really nice. You can sort of see where it buckled the paper and stuff. Moving on. Oh, we have my ex again. This is probably the second piece I ever did of him, and I remember being so embarrassed that somebody might ask me who it was, and I have to explain that, it's just this guy I like, and I think he's super cute, and I wish I could ask him out. Oh, hey, I think this is older art. Yeah, this is from 2005, but I posted it in 2006. More Inuyasha fan art, and you can definitely see my style merging into what it was in 2005 into what it is in 2006. So I remember this piece was, my friend wanted to shade something, and I think he liked Danny Phantom as much as I did. So I drew Sam and Danny kissing because they were my OTP for that show. And then he sort of shaded it. Also, what are these faces? It's not how faces work. That's not how kissing works. What is going on? This is a disaster. Okay, so I remember this piece. Not to jump topics too quick, but so, like I said, occasionally my art teacher did get us to draw from life. And that's what this is. He had this statue of a Greek woman, and we had to draw her and shade her and whatever. And I remember he told us to fill the page. So he wanted us to draw her really big and really focus on the details of the statue and all of that jazz. So by the time he said this, I was already done. As you can see, most of my style worked its way in, and I didn't really draw as much from life as I should have. So when he said fill the page, I thought, well, I'll put some stuff in. So I added some wings to her, and I put the pillars in the background, and I put these flower blobs up here. And I remember he looked at it and he was like, well, it's good, but none of this is in there on the statue. And I just remember, you said fill the page, so I just filled the page. But, it's not that great. I also love how I literally had reference in front of me for her other eyeball, and I just decided not to draw it. I was so beyond using hair to cover not having another eye that I just straight up didn't do it. So this was a disaster for starters, but this was my character Apollo. During the time, my characters combined a lot of Greek mythology and Christian Catholic iconography, so it's a really weird mixture. I'm not sure why I went with it, but that's what happened. So this is Apollo reading in the DeviantArt color void with a window with a really bad rain effect. So first of all, what is this shading? None of that makes sense. And it's I can't pick a light source. On him, it's sort of coming from the left, except over here, it's coming from the right, sort of. And then you got this down here. Y'all, I don't know what's going on. So I'm just going to change pictures. So this is my first foyer into screen toning. Because I was going to be a mangaka. I was going to draw comics like they did. So I needed to learn how to screen tone in Photoshop. And to be fair, this is not a bad try. I don't think so anyway. But I took that picture of areas you'd seen previously, and I screen toned it. And again, not bad. I really like how I use this background screen tone. I know there are tons of resources out there for it now, but this was such a breakthrough for me personally. Moving on, we have another exercise in screen toning. Just a simple girl, and when I couldn't think of anything for a background or title, I just stuck words on it. Moving on, so this is a character. It was sort of the son of my crack ship, which was Dan Phantom, Danny's older self, and Ember from Danny Phantom, obviously. This was their son, Luke. He was an emotional, edgy boy who obviously takes after his mother in ghost-like appearances, but he had some of Danny's powers, and he played guitar, and he was super moody and adorable. And I remember some of my friends just loved him. I like his physical design, like his hair and his face and stuff. Well, not this face, because it's literally just an eyeball. I didn't draw a mouth or a nose or anything. I think I was going for artistic, but it just came out looking weird. But these clothes can go these clothes can go by. I might redraw him, because like I said, I really enjoy his design, but I don't like this art. Obviously done in paint with no concept of how to shade hair, because no, this is not how it works. Moving on, so this is definitely a Kingdom Hearts era thing. So around the time I drew this, Kingdom Hearts 2 had just come out, if that shows you anything. So this is before the lore went straight bananas. So this is just me with a new ID for DeviantArt, because it's very important that sometimes you update your ID so people know all about you. So we just have me with a Paopu fruit and a little Sora plushie with our sea salt ice cream and the lyrics to the song in the background, and then animal features for some reason. That was a thing I did for a while. Not sure why. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, here's some fan art of Axel with his noodly arms and disproportioned face. Like, I hate how I drew faces. Look at his nose. There's not even a nose. It looks like the marking on his face is his nose, and everything else is just a disaster. This is awful. I'm gonna skip on. This next one isn't mine. This is my friend's. I'll leave a link to her stuff down in the description. This is obviously old art, but she drew this and she wanted me to screen tone it, so I did. So this is another Kingdom Hearts fan character. I think she was mine at the time, but I did give her to a friend who I think still uses her. I think gave her a makeover and still uses her. I had this idea for Kingdom Hearts fan characters where they were all Keyblade wielders, but they were in this sweet band and they traveled to all the different worlds to play cool gigs and fight Heartless, and it was really super cool for 15-year-old Danny. But I think I had already given her away at this point. I just did and just did the picture for a friend. I also think I used the dodge and burn tool. This might be the beginning of that. And please, please, friends, for the love of God, do not use the dodge and burn tool to shade your artwork. It is just not the right thing to do. Please, please don't do it. There are tons of tutorials that will show you how to shade things that don't involve the dodge and burn tool. So use that sparingly, please. I'm begging you, or it'll look like this. So here's more Kingdom Hearts stuff, as apparently I was going through a phase. This is, I think, my OC and Axel. I can't remember if they're like supposed to be romantically involved or something, but in the end they ended up shipping Axel and Roxas, so does it really matter? This is probably some fangirly nonsense. Ah, come back, next button. Ah, hey, dog's barking. This was more practice with screen tones and stuff, just an Otaku Senshi that never went anywhere, but I'm assuming from the red eye and the bad blood textures in the background that she was supposed to be some super edgy Sailor Senshi who's probably evil or something. Okay, so this girl and the subsequent pictures are all part of a story I had with some of my art friends in my art class. So we all made these characters based off of, with names, I won't say based off, with names from letters in the alphabet. So this one was Heidi. So her number was D, her letter was D, and they were like these sort of animal human hybrids or something. They're all something. Because like one character's a vampire and the other one's a Moogle or something, but so we'll start off with Heidi. I remember bits and pieces, not the whole thing. So this Heidi and her sister Tabitha, whom you'll see in a minute, came from this high-class family, and Heidi didn't want to do that. She wanted to be the party girl. She just wanted to dance and party, and unlike her sister, who wanted to kind of uphold the family name. So I kind of did her in this, like, trashy party outfit. Moving on, this is Miles. He was the letter M, and he was another cat person. He was sort of a moody guitarist. He really has a crush on Heidi's sister Tabitha, and he's real into her. And this one is Tabitha. She is Heidi's older sister, as I've said. She kind of upholds that family ideal of being prim and proper, and you know, the parents want her to marry for money, which is where another character comes in later. But this is Omar. I forgot how he fit into this story, but he's probably a Heidi's friend or something because he's a raver vampire boy. I could see where I was going with this. I had a type apparently, and this is Charles for letter C. He's Tabitha's excuse me, fiance, and he was not a good dude. That's why, like, Tabitha sort of had a thing for Miles but was engaged to Charles for family reasons, and she couldn't just split up with him to be with Miles, but Charles was kind of a jerk, so she wanted to anyway, and it was just this complicated love triangle. Here's that other picture again with color this time. Again, excuse me. Dry throat going on here. This was colored with Dodge and Burn tool. Please do not do that. Oh, I think this one was done shortly after my ex told me he loved me for the first time, and as a young girl in high school who never had a boyfriend and has this guy suddenly into her, it's like, I love you. It's like, oh my god, this means so much to me. This is true love, guys. It's gonna last forever. And this was, I don't know who this was. Oh, I know who this was. This was supposed to be like the Underworld boatman. I literally forgot his name, like right off the top of my head. So why is he a dog person? I don't know. I don't know why I made that artistic decision, but I did. And now I have to look at it again, over 10 years later. And finally, for this video, we have the personification of Eros. He was a happy little queer boy. He was in a relationship with my character Apollo, which you saw earlier. And he was just kind of a free spirit and was super happy and in love with everything. So what I'm probably going to do now is end the video here. There's a lot more art, and I've already been babbling for like 30 minutes after a 2-hour session earlier. In 2 hours, I barely got through half of the art from this year. So I'm going to cut this down, and I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to upload some additional parts. And what I want you guys to do is tell me in the comments, would you rather have them next week instead of an art video, or would you rather wait until my next Golden Oldies, which is actually a couple months from now? I don't know how many parts it's going to take me, so would you rather have me upload this in increments, just whenever I do one, or would you rather have me upload it in a schedule of some kind? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you like what you see, don't forget to click that like button, leave a comment, and if you want to see more sketchbook tours, old art tours, and hey, I even draw from time to time, you can click that subscribe button and get a new video from me in your inbox every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye-bye.